Raw fans. Tonight's topics on the Wrestle Story are...
Seth's first challenger has been chosen.
Lacey chose Becky, the women's right.
Bray Wyatt, the new Mr. Rogers.
All that and more on tonight's Wrestle Story. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Wrestle Story, where we discuss all things wrestling, the legends of the past, the superstars of the present, and the trailblazers of the future. We stream every Monday after Raw, every Tuesday after SmackDown, and every Wednesday after NXT, and after every pay-per-view. So...
Tonight, it's Raw.
Yes, and thanks to Scott Frame, our video didn't almost start because you started to die laughing.
I did. I was sitting here, and that cackle that you heard in the intro, that was me when our music was playing. That was me laughing. So thank you. So true though. Bray Wyatt lost weight, got fit, and gets to host Blue's Clues. I
think it's pretty cool that he's hosting Blue's Clues.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just think it's kind of funny. Like, I had ideas for what they were going to do with him, and now I'm kind of lost.
The Psycho Blue's Clues.
So, it is Monday. We were talking about Raw. Overall, not a terrible episode. I know you talked about this a lot during the evening, but, like, matches and stuff weren't great. But...
I just felt they weren't synced up on a lot of matches, and like, the timing was off. And, you know, throughout the night, I thought the timing was off on a lot of the matches.
Yeah. I think promo-wise, it was pretty good. Pretty good.
Not bad. I mean, they got some storylines going. You got some things that are starting to kind of take shape for Money in the Bank, and we'll see where they go.
Yeah, we will. So, with that being said, we will go ahead and talk about the beginning of the show. So, the show opened with Seth and Hunter, and they came out. And Seth talks about winning at Mania, and then Hunter chimes in talking about how he's going to have a big target on his back because he has the Universal Championship and blah, 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 Hunter stuff. And then they talk about Money in the Bank, and Seth talks about how just a couple years ago he was in those shoes where he was Mr. Money in the Bank. And then he said, you know, I know what it feels like to cash in on somebody and get your win, but I also know what it feels like to be cashed in on and lose. And then Hunter goes on to say, you know, enough about that. We need to focus on who your opponent is going to be and who you're facing at Money in the Bank is. And it was announced at the beginning of the show that there were going to be 2 triple threat matches on Raw tonight to determine who was then going to go to the main event of Raw to then fight for the opportunity to face Seth at Money in the Bank.
I would have been so disappointed if they did not have at least one triple threat match on Raw.
I know, Vince had to get his favorite match on the card, obviously. It was 6-man tag matches, and yes. Then it was gauntlet matches, and then it was 6-man tag matches again, and now it's apparently triple threats.
Yes.
So...
we don't believe in, like,
singles matches anymore. Yeah, no, that's not a thing. We don't do that here. So then Hunter goes on to say your opponent will be decided tonight, and that is when they talk about the matches that happen later in a little bit. We have Rey Mysterio versus Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles, and then we have Baron Corbin versus Drew McIntyre versus The Miz, and then whoever wins those 2 matches goes on in the main event and fights for the opportunity for Seth. So, Samoa Joe first comes out and tells Seth that he will be his opponent. Then Rey Mysterio comes out, does the exact same thing, says it a little differently, but says the same thing. Then we have Drew who comes out, says the exact same thing. Miz does the same, Corbin does the same, and then AJ breaks the cycle, comes out and he rips on Corbin. Somebody needed to. I'm glad it was him. Rob is okay. The champions lose constantly in non-title matches, and that's frustrating. Yeah, I will agree with that. It is very frustrating, and especially, like, looking at it in the Iconics case at this point, because that's what the match on my thing is in a little bit, and that's where they're champions. They're losing in singles matches or in tag team matches against people who... if they're supposed to be the champions, I understand why Sasha Banks was upset.
Well, I think their booking right now is just not good. I think that they need to change some of the stories up.
Yeah.
Make some of them a little more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And these triple threat matches, I'm not a huge triple threat match fan, so, I just look at this as like a way to kind of fill time.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, but I told when they had the first triple threat match with Rey Mysterio, AJ, and Joe, we knew exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah, we knew who was going to win.
They weren't going to let Mysterio win it, and they definitely were not going to let
Samoa Joe win. No, I came out and I said, watch. We were sitting there, we're like, oh, AJ Styles is going to win. And then I was like, I walked out to the living room and I was like, watch. It'll be Rey Mysterio who wins or something because, Where was Braun Strowman in this whole situation? Why was he not included in the choice of who would go for Seth next?
Who knows?
I saw that he might go for the U.S. Championship, and so maybe that's why, but like...
I don't know. Again, the booking is not real good right now, and I think they need to change some things up and make it more interesting for the... I mean, if you watch the crowd throughout the night didn't get into it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when you don't have a crowd into it, it's tough for the TV audience to get into it. I just felt the whole night that the crowd was kind of dead.
Yeah. I will say the one time that they did get a really big pop was for Seth because he is from Iowa.
Well, that's the one exception, but
yeah,
you kind of expect that.
I mean...
if you don't get a pop there, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
I hope he filmed Blues Clues with Bray. That'd be a good Blues Clues episode.
I saw somebody on Twitter, they were like, oh, where's Braun in this whole situation? And then someone underneath, they were like, he must be getting his audition tape for SNL ready or something because who knows? Maybe he's still trying to pursue that SNL.
Yeah, who knows?
Because,
I don't know.
Again, who knows?
So we have way, AJ Styles ends up getting the win in the first match.
Yeah,
kind of way
Mysterio,
too
AJ
obvious, I felt.
Yeah.
So then we have Naomi versus Billie Kay.
And once again, just like we were talking about, champs getting pinned.
Well, here's a question. Are they setting up the Iconics to split up?
I don't think so. I mean, I'd love for them to, but I don't think you can.
Think about it. When they came out, they talked about she has my back, I have her back.
Maybe.
And then she got pinned.
Maybe.
So are they setting them up to get split up?
Maybe. I don't know. What do you think?
Me? Or the people out there on the...
I mean the people.
Watching us.
Iconics versus Naomi and Tamina. I mean, like, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but it wouldn't be my first choice for a tag team. It would make sense, but...
Maybe that's what they're doing with Naomi. I think the way they're talking the Iconics right now, that they're looking to split them up just based... Which I think is a bad idea, because I think, if they don't squeal and scream, I think that they're a good tag team. Although tonight, that match, I thought timing was way off. It looked bad at times.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just being too picky with it, but I just felt that, some of the timing was off in that match, and it didn't look like legitimate, like hitting each other.
Yeah. So Billy and Peyton, they come out, they talk about being the future and how, I got your back, you got my back, blah, 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 blah. And then they start talking about how, last week, they said something along the lines of like, oh, who do you have, Naomi? Who has your back? And then I was like, cue Sasha Banks music. Come on. Bring it on. Bring it on. And then they didn't. And I was like, well, okay. Lovely. And so then Naomi ended up getting the win over Billy.
Yeah.
Just kind of filler.
So basically, Peyton didn't have her back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then we have a new Blues Clues video.
Mr. Rogers.
Blues Clues.
Rogers
Whichever one you
Blues
choose.
Children's television show.
Yeah.
Mr. Bray Wyatt. We have a video with his creepy doll once again. Which this doll now has a name. I don't know what that name would be because they said it so weirdly. I couldn't understand it.
It's going to be Nikki Cross. One time they're going to pan to it and she's going to be sitting in a chair.
It has to be, right?
She's almost the size of that doll.
She hasn't... Okay, I'm going to look
this
up because I don't know if she actually was drafted and if she is on the roster right now. So I'm going to look that up real quick because I would like to know. And if she is not, that makes me think that they are going to do something with her with...
Sister Abigail.
Bray. And have her be... Yeah.
Change her character.
Yeah. Speaking of changing characters.
Whoa, did you just yell at me?
Who got a name change tonight, people? We have a new tag team on the scene.
Yes.
A new tag team again.
A new old tag team.
I am so shocked.
I'm hoping they change their name next week.
I am so shocked.
So then we have The Miz versus Corbin versus Drew. Again,
that match was next?
yeah, according to your notes.
That was really early in the show. I felt like those were really close together, and I
Well,
don't
you
like
look
that.
at the beginning took forever. Took like 15, 20 minutes for the first, maybe 30 minutes for the first part.
Whoa. Dean Ambrose is still on the
It's all a trick.
roster.
Don't believe it.
Don't believe it.
Yeah.
What do you mean, him leaving?
They're trying to get you excited about him being there. Oh, well, that's pretty cool. Apparently my headset is floating. If I turn just right, does it look cool? Awesome.
I see it.
So anyway, we have the.
You're completely lost because you
I
don't
got
have a clue
confused by
what you're
my green headset.
Yeah.
It's not my fault. That's what happens when the kids take your headsets that you normally have that computer.
Mm-hmm.
So the Miz versus Corbin versus Drew. Again, I felt that this was too predictable.
Yeah.
The Miz, I think, is still going to have a feud with Shane McMahon.
Well, there was a split second that I did think that they were going to have him win. And then they didn't.
Well, the only way I'd see him winning is if they're going to use him to win the title and then have Shane win the title. So then Shane could go, I'm the greatest ever.
I hate that.
Outside of that, I don't think that, there's really much to it.
Well. Nikki Cross is not on either SmackDown or Raw's roster.
They're changing her name.
As of right now.
She's going to be Sister Abigail. You watch. Mark it down.
You heard it here first, people.
That's right. Nikki Cross is going to be Sister Abigail.
She's not on SmackDown or Raw's roster. Killian Dane is.
Yes.
That's her husband. But she is not.
It's going to happen. So Corbin gets the win, and then we have a backstage interview on Corbin from AJ.
Mm-hmm. Just talking about how he's going to beat him later in the evening in the main event.
Yeah.
That's all that was. So, actually, real quick, before we move on to Sami Zayn, because Sami Zayn is entertaining. Boy, oh boy. They had three...
I would like to see people just get up and walk out when he comes out.
Corbin?
No, Sami Zayn.
Oh. Why?
Well, I think he's doing a good job with the character, but, it's getting kind of old, him coming out and talking about how he hated returning and all this stuff. I just go, well, dude, we're leaving.
All right, time to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Gotta go get some snacks.
I mean,
we'll be back.
I don't get, so why did you come back? If they're going to turn into an angle, that's fine, but, do something with it already. This has been, 3-4 times he's been out talking about how he hated coming back?
He came back at the Montreal Raw, and that was last week.
Someone's going to confront him and talk to him about, well, then why'd you come back?
I think he's going to get into it. They're going to put him in the Money in the Bank match, I think is what's going to happen. Now, whether or not he actually wins it, I don't know, but I think they're going to put him in the Money in the Bank match. So I expect to see that here announced next week, because Alexa Bliss on her talk show, Moment of Bliss, is going to announce who the Raw competitors in the Money in the Bank match are next week. So, expecting to see that. Real quick, there were some shakeups that were made, today, that were announced and shown as to who was going on what show. And so, Cesaro was moved to Raw. So I guess that's splitting up Sheamus and Cesaro.
Yes, the end of Cesaro and Sheamus.
The bar. So they are done for, it looks like. He was on Raw tonight. He's in a match that we'll talk about a little later. And then Aleister Black, Zelina Vega, and Andrade were all moved to SmackDown. Andrade and Zelina are back on SmackDown, and Aleister is going with them.
Yes. No, I don't think it's a huge shakeup. The only shakeup there is they were pushing Aleister Black and Ricochet as tag team.
And now they're not.
So, that would be the biggest shakeup, I think, out of that.
I would say that the reason they moved them back was because they did not move Charlotte over to Raw with Andrade, and they are together now. And so, they want to be together, and so they put Andrade back on SmackDown. And if Zelina goes too, Alistair and Zelina are together, and they're married, and so Alistair would then go to SmackDown too because they don't split up the married wrestlers.
I'm glad you just confused me with everything you just said.
Sorry.
They're just trying to keep couples together.
They are. They're trying to keep couples together. So that I should have just said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we have Cedric Alexander versus Cesaro. I think this is Cedric Alexander's debut, wasn't it?
It was, and he got the snot kicked out of him.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did this.
It's a match I don't think they needed. I think if you were
gonna bring him up and have it be his debut match, then why would you not have him win?
Why do you have him wrestle with Cesaro?
Don't know.
I mean, that's not giving him a pop at all. And I understand, creating storylines and things like that with mid-card and lower card wrestlers, but
why?
Cesaro is seen as, or was seen as, one of your top tag team.
I've said this so many times. He's not going to make it as a singles competitor.
Probably
He's just not. He has never been able to make it as a singles competitor. I'm sorry. It's just facts. He hasn't. The only times he's ever had anything good and he's ever won any big championships is like with tag teams.
There's a lot more to being a good wrestler than just stepping out and wrestling people. You have to be able to be good on the mic, and I don't see him like being great on the mic.
Yeah.
So then we have the
Cesaro gets the win.
Oh yeah, Cesaro gets the win.
Cedric Alexander gets beaten his debut match on Raw.
Yes. We have the Uso interview, and they are interrupted by Dash and Dawson. So I'm assuming that they're going to kind of get a feud between Dash and Dawson and the Usos.
I'm assuming so, yes.
Why?
Because they need somebody to bring the Revival up and not bring them down.
Got you.
Because the Revival would probably have already been in AEW by now if they hadn't been bringing them up.
Problem is, if you write good storylines, then you can bring up whoever as long as the storyline is good. And again, sometimes they just haven't been good.
Yeah.
So basically, the Usos kind of, I don't remember which one was to put his head on the shoulder and pretend like he was sleeping.
Pretty sure it was Jimmy.
He pretends like he's sleeping and goes, "Oh, are they talking to us? I thought it was just a dream." And
and in my dream, there were these two fools that came up to me, and they were like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? We want to fight you, bro." And look, there they are, right in front of us. Yeah. Two fools. You guys look exactly like them.
Thought it was, overall a decent promo. Just
quite honestly, I like the Usos. Always cut really good promos. Now I kind of like it better when they do kind of the goofier stuff because that's just more of them. Like, if you've seen anything outside of, which you haven't, but if you have seen anything outside of, like, actual WWE TV and you watch, like, Total Divas or something like that and you see Jimmy on with Naomi, like, he's, like, that goofy kind of guy, and so it meshes well.
Yeah.
So I like when they do the goofier stuff because I think it comes off really natural and not scripted.
Yeah, I mean, they're overall they're not too bad. Like I said, they're one of the best at not only in the ring but on the mic.
Yeah.
So then we have the Viking Raiders.
Now,
yes,
who might that be? Who might that be?
They are a new tag team.
They are a new tag team on the
week
Raw.
To Raw.
Mm-hmm. So last week
they look a lot like the Viking Experience. They look a lot like the
War Raiders. They look a lot like War Machine.
Someone had quadruplets.
Yeah, you might just be asking, like, new tag team, huh? Cool. Who are they? Well, you've seen them before. This is the fourth name change they've had.
I like
this is the second name change in a matter of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, next week...
The Viking Raiders, I like it better than what they had before.
The Viking Experience.
But I
like War Raiders the best.
Yeah.
I saw a hilarious tweet, if I'm being honest.
So anyway, the Viking Raiders versus the Lucha House Party. Why? No one knows. Did anybody get pinned in this match?
I don't think so. I wrote down that the War Raiders got the win though in like 2.5 seconds. I think there was a bell.
Was there? For those of you watching, was there actually a bell in this match?
But don't know for sure.
Because it looked like the War Raiders just destroyed the Lucha house party, and I don't even remember seeing a pin.
I don't know for sure. I remember hearing a bell.
I remember getting up to go to the bathroom because I thought it was going to be destruction, and come back and like they're slamming the next Lucha into the mat, and I had no clue what happened.
I don't know. So real quick, I did on Twitter, there's this tweet that I retweeted that somebody put up, and they said, breaking news. This is a joke. It said, breaking news. WWE plans for the evolution of War Machine's name leaked. War Machine to War Raiders to Viking Experience to Viking Raiders to Viking-sized bed, Burger Vikings, Vikings of Leon, Jerry the Vikings Lawler, Vikings of Queens, and Vikings R Us.
That's funny. It's about the way it is, so we'll see if they change it next week.
Next week, the next one on the list would be Viking-sized bed, so we will just see. I mean, who knows?
Yep. So then you have Ryder and Hawkins talking about the Viking Raiders. Like they're going to challenge them or something. I don't know. Then we have the Becky Lynch versus Alicia Fox match.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. This segment. This is... I just laugh every time at the end of this match. Every time Lacey Evans pulls that punch, it just makes me laugh. Because it just does. I'm sorry. I just can't take it seriously.
Well, I thought this match in and of itself was bad.
Okay, so yeah, this match was terrible. Let's back it up a second and go back to the beginning. So Becky comes out, she says, I found out who my next challenger is last week. Lacey Evans is her challenger at Money in the Bank. And so Lacey comes out, tells Becky that she shouldn't be flaunting her title, shouldn't be wanting to fight, and she's big-headed. Becky says, at Money in the Bank, I'm going to slap your head right off your shoulders, you plank. I love her insults. Her insults are the best. Plank, and, I'm not even thinking right now. You dope. That's the other one. Dope is the other one, and it makes me laugh, because they're insults, but they're nice insults. I like them. And then the match gets started. Now, this is Fox's first match back since she had been gone. And I mean, it wasn't anything to go home about. I don't like the fact that I get why we're putting her in a match against Becky, because Becky is the top dog right now. Becky is, she's been doing this for forever. She's kind of a veteran at this point. Alicia Fox is a veteran, but like compared to some of the girls I have on the roster right now, I would consider Becky a veteran. And so, I understand the fact of wanting to put her in the ring with somebody who's good, who can call the match and blah, 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 blah. But, like, Fox almost dropped Becky on her head a couple times.
Well, again, I think...
It wasn't great.
The timing wasn't good on this, and it showed.
And, like, I want to cut Fox some slack because this is her first match back, but it shouldn't be terrible.
No, and I thought
it shouldn't be noticeably terrible.
Well, the problem is part of it is both of them. Both of them have to be in sync, and, this match overall just didn't have it. I mean, even Becky didn't get the pop from the crowd that she normally would get.
No.
And so I felt that this was not a good match.
Lacey got no pop. Lacey got nothing from the crowd whatsoever.
I'm wanting to get more people involved with storylines and things like that. And so, having this match I'm cool with. They just need to work on, timing and things like that to make it more believable than actually what it was.
Yeah. So, the match happens. Wasn't great. Then Becky gets the win, and Lacey comes out and she hits her with the women's right. Once Becky gets Alicia in the disarm her, she's sitting there. The match bell gets rung. Lacey comes out of who knows where, and does Lace. That was not my right arm. She does that. Not even joking. It wasn't even like she. The first punch was not good. It was like she didn't even hit her in the face.
Well, again, both of them have to sell it, so...
They do. And it was difficult because you could see that Becky, she didn't get hit. And so Becky, she sat there for a second and then she, fell backwards and was like... Because she didn't get hit in the first place. And then she's like... And then she stands up. And Becky... Darn, I wish. Lacey comes at her once again.
And hits her
again with the women's right, and she sells it better that time. But every time I see Lacey hit that, it just makes me laugh because the first time she did it, like the very first time that she came out and got in Becky's face and hit her with the women's right, Becky, like, didn't phase her.
Well, again,
she, like, went down, she, like, turned around, and she was, like, turned around and chased her back up the ramp, and it was hilarious. And then every time after that, people always make jokes. They're like,
part of that is selling.
Vince backstage was like, Becky, gotta sell that better.
You do.
and so everybody was, but it makes me laugh because, you know. But
you're a big Becky fan, and so when you have blinders on, it's kind of tough to be objective in this.
Okay.
I mean, if you're not objective, you know, the whole idea is to create a storyline.
It is creating a storyline.
Both wrestlers have to sell the storyline.
Yes, I get that. It just makes me laugh because Becky didn't sell it in the first place, and then every time she's hit her with the punch after, she's like...
So then who's she looking out for?
Lacey?
No. Who's she looking out for? If she's not selling the stuff, who's she looking out for?
I don't
Herself.
know. Becky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She needs to sell it just as well as, you know, Lacey needs to deliver it.
Which hasn't been happening.
Well, one of the problems is Lacey Evans hasn't been on the main
But how do you
stage.
fix that? You put her on TV.
You do.
Have they put her in matches?
No.
She's been in one.
Yeah.
Now whose fault is that? Creatives.
That is.
Vince's.
Creative is messed up with what they're doing, and I think they need to... Again, I said creative's messed up, and I'm not saying Lacey Evans should be going against Becky Lynch, but, you know, Becky Lynch has to sell some of this stuff a lot better than she has. Even a good wrestler will sell it. They will make somebody bad look decent.
Mm-hmm. Well, Becky's been doing that her whole career.
Well, she hasn't done it. You know,
Not
the
recently.
first time Lacey hit her, she didn't. Tonight, they messed up a couple times, and she didn't really make Alicia Fox look good.
Not really, no, but she's been doing it the rest of her career. I can tell you that much right now.
Well, she might be, but you know that now you're in the limelight. Now the pressure's on. You have to step it up, and you have to be the big dog. You want to be the man, start acting like the man, and you get to push. You push others over to make everything seem believable. And even if you're against someone that's not good, you sell it. Just my opinion.
Okay.
Anyways, so then we have Ricochet versus Robert Roode. Apparently Robert Roode.
You screwed that up.
Huh?
I said, man, you screwed that up.
No, I didn't. I knew what I was saying.
I know. Rick Rude.
Yeah.
Rick, same thing.
It's like the Rick Rude, you know.
Of 2019.
I'm waiting for somebody like Bobby Heenan to come out and manage him.
Bobby Heenan? Wait, is Bobby Heenan even alive?
No, he's dead, but someone like him.
That's what I thought. I was going to be like, huh? Bobby Heenan is dead. So how does that work? He comes back from the dead.
Bobby Heenan's ghost is going to come out and
turn
manage
back.
Rick.
He's going to come back as, like,
I
Paul
almost
Bear.
said it. Rick Rude. I'm going to do it a lot. You watch.
He's going to come back like, I almost said Paul Heyman. He's going to come back like Paul Bear and just, like, ooh.
Yeah.
His face is all white and stuff.
So Ricochet versus Robert Roode. I guess I kind of put a squash on Ricochet and are going to give Robert Roode a push here.
I guess.
I hope they give him a manager. Because if they're going to take this angle and make it as much like Rick Rude as possible, I mean, they had him shave everything except for the mustache.
Yeah.
So it looks like Rick Rude.
Yeah.
And so I hope that they change this
They
up.
had him drop Chad Gable.
Yes.
So
they
were split up in the
Robert
the
Roode gets the win. Then we have...
people on Twitter were like, can't you just see it now? Robert Roode with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Yes. I was like...
I can see it. And I'm fine with him getting a push. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I just hope he gets a manager and has someone, you know... Dude, don't spit on yourself. Hope he gets a manager and, you know... Dude.
You saw it here first, people. I just almost drowned in my water bottle.
So then we have the Firefly Funhouse with Bray Wyatt.
Boy, oh boy.
Blues Clues, as Scott Frame said, or Mr. Rogers, or whatever child show you want to talk about.
Yeah, I just about drowned myself. I'm still not over that yet. I'm okay, people.
He says, I will never turn into that pathetic slob loser ever again. That
slob loser that he was before
tells me that he is going to turn...
into that pathetic slob loser he was before.
Yeah, I think he's going to be in shape, but I think he's going to turn into that pathetic slob. Slob loser
Pathetic
again.
glob. Pathetic glob will be there with Sluber. Yeah, no. So, he then... There's a cutout of himself from when he was, like, the leader of the Wyatt family. And, he takes a chainsaw and slices it in half.
Yeah. It's okay. You know.
It's fine. It's just
Texas
a children's
Chainsaw Massacre type stuff there.
it's just a children's show. It's fine. It's normal. It's normal child
Everybody
violence.
brings out the chainsaw and cuts things up on a child's show.
And notes I jotted down, were that he was wearing gloves, and that one said hurt and the other said heal, and so not like heal as in a bad guy, but like heal as in
no! You know what this is gonna be?
I'm gonna heal you.
You know who it is?
Who?
AJ Raleigh.
I don't know who that
RJ Raleigh or whatever. Mojo Raleigh.
Mojo Raleigh?
Yeah. You know.
Oh.
My bad. It's Mojo.
It's not RJ.
I lost Mojo.
It's Mojo.
Yeah, well, it's because I've never seen him.
Yeah, where's he been? We saw him that one week, and he had, like, the squiggle thingies.
Yeah, I see him but I've never seen him wrestle.
He's not great, so
since
you
I
don't
started
really
watching wrestling.
Since I started wrestling, I haven't seen him wrestle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No. So I don't know. Hurt and heal. I don't know.
I think he's gonna be like Jekyll and Hyde.
He might
That's
just
my
be.
opinion.
You know, I find it very funny, the outfit he was in. He was in, like, a red sweater and with the gloves on and stuff. I don't know why. It made me think of Freddy Krueger. All he needed was a hat.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
So then we have the next week, Alexa Bliss is going to talk about the Raw participants in the Money in the Bank match.
Then we get to the ever so anticipated... Wait. We'll take a step back. Who do you think is going to be put in the Money in the Bank match?
I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Who would be your pick to win the Money in the Bank match? Who would you want to see win the Money in the Bank match?
I think that maybe since they're giving Bobby Roode a push, they may consider him.
Who would you want to see win?
Well, it depends on the storylines. I mean, you got to create storylines, and if they create good storylines, I don't care who it is.
Andrade. I know he's not on Raw right now, and so she's not announcing, like, SmackDown participants, but, like, Andrade. Andrade or Ricochet.
Create storylines.
Oh, maybe even Aleister Black.
Everything else sells.
Man, there's a lot of people that they could put in there and that could be good and could win.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm curious to see who's put in the women's. Sasha Banks. If she's not put in the women's match, who are you? So,
Well, but then if you bend back or bend over for, like, someone that whines and cries about things, then what's that say?
They did the same thing with the Revival. So...
Well, they did, but you notice they took the titles off them right away.
They did.
They didn't have them very long. So...
But it got them to stick around, didn't it?
Yeah.
And they haven't gone anywhere yet.
No.
So I'm going to go with Sasha Banks. That's my pick for the women's, for who they should put in there and win. Who knows if they will or not. Yeah,
yes.
We'll see.
I'll let you know once I know who's in it.
Yeah, so we have the now much anticipated AJ versus Corbin match. Little boring Baron Corbin. He has weaseled his way back into the main event once again.
Well, the question is there anybody that has been on more matches and seen more on TV than Baron Corbin?
Lacey Evans.
No. She hasn't been seen.
Week after week, walking out.
Do you look at Baron Corbin has been on every week in a match, so...
But Lacey Evans has been out every week, every Tuesday and Monday for the last several months.
But Baron Corbin's on quite a bit.
I'd say it's those two. For the women's division, it'd be Lacey, and for the men's, it would be Baron Corbin.
I don't know. Becky's
overused and what?
Becky's on quite a bit.
Shut your face. Dope.
So anyway, you have AJ and Corbin. AJ ends up getting the win. A decent match.
Expectations.
I would say that this was probably the best match of the night, definitely. And I know it's supposed to be because it's
No. I thought you said the Ricochet and Bobby Roode match was the best.
Well,
match
I mean, I think it was solid, but then this one, I said that during the match, and then this one. So I think he had two really good matches and then some okay matches. And it's not because of it's more because of how the wrestling went, not because of who wrestled who.
Yeah.
They got to sell some things, and I think some of the matches tonight just didn't do that.
Wait. Okay, sorry. This has nothing to do with Raw and SmackDown. It has to do with NXT UK. And it's kind of a spoiler, so, like, if you don't have Twitter and you, like, don't like spoilers, then I advise you, like...
Close your eyes and
shut your ears for just a hot second, because, Alexander Wolf is going to NXT UK.
Yes.
Former member of Sanity, Eric Young is on Raw, Killian Dane is on SmackDown, and Alexander Wolf is going down to NXT UK.
Yep. Split up. Gone.
They're no longer Sanity.
Nope.
Which is actually quite odd, because he did say, he did put up a tweet that was like, goodbye WWE. And he was like...
Well, then he came back and said, I meant, you know...
I meant goodbye WWE. I didn't mean goodbye WWE.
I
meant goodbye WWE, like Raw and SmackDown. I am going to NXT.
I think a lot of it is because people see a separation between, even though it's the same thing, a separation between NXT and the main roster. And even WWE's kind of sold it that way with changing characters' names, putting characters together as tag team.
Yeah.
So that, you know, that's not shocking.
Yeah.
With that was the end of Raw.
Yeah, it was.
Again, the matches, I felt that they could have sold some of the matches a lot better than they did. So, yeah.
Yeah.
You got anything else to add?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's anything else newsworthy.
Reminder, we stream every Monday after Raw, every Tuesday after SmackDown, every Wednesday after NXT, and after every pay-per-view.
Oh!
Make sure you hit that subscribe.
Is Daniel Bryan out with an injury?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything
because
about
I saw a rumor that he could potentially be out with an injury right now. Like, not a not good injury. And so I was just wondering if
sounds like there's several of them that are out with injuries.
Well, AJ Styles is still fighting an injury right now. But he was on TV, so it's not bad enough that...
It's keeping him out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
I don't.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already.
Yes.
Hit the little bell so you know when we go live.
Yes.
We will be back again tomorrow night with the SmackDown recap. And
curious to see what happens. I'm wondering, well, I know we have Charlotte versus Becky tomorrow. For the 1,000th time, but I know it'll be good because they always have good matches with each other. They always do really well because they work so much together that they do an amazing job when they do matches together.
Yeah.
So I know it'll be good.
Yep.
And there's supposed to be Kofi versus Nakamura.
Yeah.
With KO and Xavier Woods in his corner, and then Rusev and Lana in Nakamura's corner. So we have those to look forward to.
Or at least that's what's expected.
Yes, they can always change stuff, so who knows.
With that, make sure, you know, like I said,
subscribe,
hit the bell button.
Yep.
So you know when we go live.
Yep.
And peace out.